Hey everyone, it's Father Sean here with another episode of the Couch Chat, and it's great to be with you, especially after a great week with the Eucharistic Festival. Hopefully you had a chance to participate in some of the things, maybe to come to one of the evening masses, or a chance to venerate the relics or see the miracles, or maybe hear one of the talks. It was just a great week, and could probably spend the whole time just reflecting on the experience of Christ in the Eucharist. And maybe that's a helpful thing to do, is to just kind of look back and maybe just some of the takeaways that I noticed. For one was just how beautiful it is to have a parish serving more than just serving abroad, so we were kind of a landing spot for so many Catholics throughout the area. Of course, our first responsibility is to those who live within our parish boundaries, whether they're Catholic or whether they're not. But it was beautiful to have kind of this witness of the larger church throughout the archdiocese. We had a homeschool group come down from New Bavaria, Ohio, which I'm told is in Putnam County somewhere. I had to ask them. And then all the way from Incarnation in Centerville sent 100 eighth graders up. And then, of course, there were people coming from the talks. We had young adults come, especially on Friday night. It was beautiful to kind of see the larger church excited about Christ in the Eucharist. And even our parishioners, so many parishioners volunteered to help, and sometimes there was a lot going on, sometimes there was a bit of downtime, and which was actually really nice just to have some time to visit with each other, for people to get to know each other who hadn't known each other before. And we had people from all 4 parishes volunteer, so it was a beautiful kind of gathering of people. And isn't that what the Eucharist does, right? It's the Eucharist that draws us, that makes us one, because we have the same blood, right? We share in the same body, the body of Christ. We share in the same blood that runs through every Catholic's veins is the same. It's Christ. And so it's Christ that draws us into one. And even, St. Paul talks about the many grains from far off lands that are one in the body of Christ. So seeing that great unity. The other thing, so we get kind of the Eucharist drawing us together, whether it's parishioners or whether it's non-parishioners, but then also just the awe of the Eucharist, right? And seeing people, especially talking about miracles, just being enraptured by this incredible gift of the Eucharist that becomes his flesh and blood. So there was a sense of just like marveling a little bit about the gift of the Eucharist, with this almost like childlike wonder about Christ giving himself to us in the Eucharist, and just how precious that gift is, and how near he is, and how incredibly vulnerable he is to us in the Eucharist. And Sister briefly said this in her talk on Thursday about how he surrenders himself to us, the church, in the Eucharist, and is just a beautiful thing. He's so vulnerable and so near. So just that wonder we have of Christ in the Eucharist. And then maybe the last takeaway is just how kind of bizarre the whole thing is, but how much we're drawn to that. So think about this. The relics of saints are traveling the United States. Their bones, their heart muscle has been basically preserved, and that is now traveling a different continent, which there's just something very medieval about that idea. But it gets to this like nitty-grittiness of our Catholic faith, right? Like, we're physical people, right? It's why we love a rosary, because it's tangible. It's why God became flesh and dwelt among us. So there's just something so nitty-gritty about the Eucharist it's just absolutely beautiful. And maybe just about our Catholic faith in general. It's tangible, it's tactile. And these relics are part of this, because these saints, it's not fairy tales, but it's people who lived the struggle that we lived and lived it well. So it was just an incredible week, and I imagine for weeks, for maybe even years, we'll be unpacking the graces of this great festival. So thanks for everybody who was part of it. Maybe just one thing looking forward. This Friday, I think it's the 10th, of February, I have a workshop to go to that the Archdiocese is putting on for pastors because of the number of questions they've gotten about the legal things with parish mergers, right? Whether it's financial, whether it's canon law, state of Ohio stuff. So all these different things are really important questions. So they're gathering the pastors. And there's a couple different options. The one I'm going to is on Friday the 10th. So just to learn about all these different aspects of these mergers. So I hope that'll be helpful. I know kind of as time goes, kind of unfold and share what I've learned there. Maybe first probably with our finance and pastoral council, finance committee. So all helpful, and maybe that means some of the questions that have come up, questions you do have, will be answered here in short time. Maybe completely, maybe not completely, maybe just a better sense, which sometimes answers come gradually, I guess. So thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Couch Chat, coming off the great high of the Eucharistic Festival. So God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.